How do you handle a change in the size of your household? That's what I'm here to talk about. I recently went through that and I want to walk you through 5 things that I learned and that it's not awful and you can do it. Welcome, I'm Amy, and here at the Frugal Diaries I give you tips and tools for frugal living, and in this case I'm here to introduce the beginning of the Frugal Diaries, a changed name from Frugal Over 50. I will still be talking about frugal living tips and tools from the perspective of a woman over 50, and I want to say thank you to all of you who are of all ages who've been joining in and just participating and really excited about frugal living at any age. I want to talk about a frugal living challenge that we actually do face at any age, and that's the change in the size of our household. Let's walk through it together. Now, the very first thing that I have to tell you is that plans change, and you may have a plan to change from a large household to a small household, or from a large household to a medium household, or from a small household to a large household, and it may change, and that's okay, and you need to be prepared. I want to walk you through a little bit about what happened in my household. My plan was to go from a 3-person and 2 pets household to a 1-person and 2 pets household, and I was even looking at the possibility of turning into just a 1-person household. All of these things were in discussion. They were all in the plan. Now let me turn the camera around and walk you around a little bit here so that you can see some of what I was thinking about giving up. This, I feel, would not have been a good choice. I am really glad that I made the decision to keep Goldie. Goldie is a wonderful dog and she enjoys sleeping her senior years away. We also have Daisy, if I can find her. Daisy is the cat that rules the roost. You may have had an idea or a goal or a dream about how you wanted to live, how many people you wanted in your household, where that household was going to be, and it just changed for one reason or another. A lot of things that we all thought were going to happen haven't happened in the last 2 years, and that's been really, really hard to deal with. I want to acknowledge that it can be very difficult when you want something to change so badly. I had big plans to move, for instance, and I've been talking to you about those for a long time, and that's not going to happen for a while. But I've decided it's okay because I can declutter and I can downsize in place. That's actually okay. We just keep going. We enjoy the neighborhood that we live in, which is really quite beautiful. And we enjoy the house that we live in, which is really quite beautiful. And that leads us to the next point, which is that regardless of what's going on in your life, your kitchen is the key to how you are functioning. I talked to you about this a bit last week. You see before you one of my dream states of kitchen cabinetry design. I love open shelving at the top of the cabinetry, and I love closed shelving at the bottom. So even though this is a bit of a DIY home hack situation where I just got up there and painted it some color red a few years ago, I really like it. But what you can see is all of the evidence of the change that has been happening. And I keep showing this to you because I haven't quite got up the courage to really tackle it yet. But you can see all of the different eras of things that I have cooked, things that I've tried, different sizes, appliances, and sometimes this can be tough to reconcile with a frugal life that we're trying to live when you have stuff just sort of piled around that you've tried and that hasn't worked. And I would like to tell you that it is okay to just try things out and experiment a bit. And if the kitchen is not exactly perfect, well, maybe you have something that's wonderful and that brings you joy, like a little espresso machine. Now, the particular reason that I'm talking about your kitchen and why you want it to function is because whether or not you cook, whether or not you clean from your kitchen, and whatever you do there, that reflects how you're living your life, because food and water are absolute necessities for survival, and the kitchen is the place of survival. And so you want that kitchen to reflect the life that you're leading. In my case, I was trying to downsize. This is something that I'm going to be figuring out probably over the next 6 months, and then it's going to change again. So, as we often say, the only constant in life is change, and the kitchen should reflect that, and it should be functional while you are still changing. And fortunately, my kitchen is. Next, I want to tell you to take your time. Obviously, this is taking me more time than I planned. You see behind me a set of mugs, and you see these water bottles. These are collections that have been made over the years that I really need to go through, but I can't quite emotionally bring myself to do it yet because It reminds me of past years. It reminds me of Christmas gifts. It reminds me of trips that we took where we bought these items. And these items are particularly special in my family. And so just to go through them and say, well, everything's different now, so I need to go through and get rid of it, it doesn't feel right. It would kind of break my heart a little bit. And I'm gonna take my time. And so if your household size is changing, whether it's going up or going down, or whether you've been living alone for a really long time and you just have something you're attached to, it can be hard to just dive in and get rid of it just because something has changed. And I'm here to tell you it's okay. It's okay to take your time. They're not going anywhere, and they'll wait till I'm ready for them. I also want to walk you through a room that's really big in my house. I don't know if you can hear the echo. The size of this room is just really huge for my house. And talk to you about decluttering. And I want to suggest that you do it in stages. I actually have a decluttering video that I can link for you up here so that you can watch what I recommend, what I consider best practices in decluttering. And I want to talk you through how I'm doing one of those best practices right now. This looks like a nice open space. There's a little exercise corner, a little bit of storage, which I still want to go through, but is working okay. A little plant. And my favorite thing, the clothes rack. I'm not drying anything on it right now, but there it is. Now, last week at this time, this was the spot of doom. It was covered in all kinds of things, from clothes to other kinds of cast-offs that are going to be donated, to repair items that need to be used when I get in touch with my repair guy. It was all kinds of crazy stuff. And I cleared it out, and I am left with not just this wonderful, very organized and very open space, but also, dun, dun, dun. Sometimes when you declutter one area, you're left with a big pile of something. I am not going to go through this entire pile in one go. I will still sort through these items, and I will deal with things that need to be thrown out. I will sort things into piles to deal with at different times. And over time, probably over about the next 2 to 3 weeks, it's going to take me that long to get through all of the stuff that's here. And so I want you to know that decluttering in stages is not just okay, but it's really good for our brains to try one thing and then pause and reflect, and then try another thing and then pause and reflect. It's absolutely fine. And along the way, make sure to stop and enjoy the beautiful things in life, enjoy nature, enjoy getting out for a walk, enjoy things that give you peace and joy, especially if your household size is changing and you're decluttering and downsizing because of that, which is what I am doing, whether you're going from many people to one, or even if you've been a one-person household for a really long time, I bet you've accumulated stuff that you need to declutter. Take it in stages and don't expect perfection of yourself. One last thing. As I tried frugal living for one person, one of the things that I had to do was to examine all of my options along the way. And I really thought in advance, what if I get rid of everything and live out of a backpack? What if I have 2 suitcases and that's it? And I was ready to do that. If you're thinking about downsizing, if you're thinking about decluttering, if you're thinking about reducing the size of your household, it's a really useful exercise to think about all the options, whether they're realistic or not. What would it be like to downsize everything and live out of a backpack? What would it be like somewhere in between? What would it be like to stay exactly as you are? And then even if your changes end up being much more gradual, you still have examined your options and you can live out of a realm of possibility. And that's what we want. Now here at the Frugal Diaries, which used to be Frugal Over 50, you're gonna see me walking around my house, around my neighborhood, and talking to you about the frugal life that I live, the frugal journey that I'm on. I'm not an expert. I am a fellow journeyer. I am a sister journeyer. I am happy to tell you what I'm learning and also what I'm struggling with. As you can see, I've got some decluttering to do. And I want you to know that you are not alone. And I am so proud of you. Wherever you are on your frugal living journey, take the next step. Whatever that next step is for you, live frugally. Change your life, and together we will change the world. I can't wait to see you again soon. Bye-bye.